Welcome in, basketball fans, once again to NBA Now from Chat Sports. And as always, I'm your host, Jimmy Crowther of All Things Mavs. I'll be bringing you all the latest and greatest NBA news and rumors. And it's NBA playoff season, baby. It's in full swing. It's the best time to be an NBA fan. But we're not going to be talking about the playoffs today. You guys are watching. You guys know what's going on. We're going to be talking about the NBA offseason and a little rumors and news that's going around right now. And to start off our show, we're talking about Kemba Walker of the Charlotte Hornets, obviously entering free agency after starting on the All-Star team this year in the Eastern Conference. 28 years old, last chance to get a big payday this summer, averaged a career high in points per game and rebounds per game. He played all 82 games for the Charlotte Hornets, who just barely missed the playoffs out in the East. But he's looking to get paid. He's looking to go to a winning organization. To start off this rumor, I want to talk about a little couple quotes that came from President of Operations and GM Mitch Kupchak of the Charlotte Hornets. Asked about Kemba Walker, he said, "Kemba has been here 8 years now. He's made the playoffs twice. That is not what he wants to do. Yeah, there is a sense of urgency. That's my job." Yeah, very good, Mitch Kupchak. You need to put some talent around the guy. He's been your franchise player for some time now. 8 years. 8 years, and you guys have been to the playoffs twice. It's time to put some talent around Kemba Walker. So he was asked about this summer. And then he said, "I don't anticipate us being a huge player in free agency." And that is so bad to hear from your GM. I know they have a horrible cap situation. They have a lot of money locked up. But you got to go out there and say, hey, I'm the GM. I'm going to take control. I'm going to put some talent around Kemba Walker. I'm not going to just sit back and say, oh yeah, I don't think we're going to be doing a whole lot this summer. Obviously, the number one priority is to lock up Kemba Walker. But you got to put some talent around the guy if you want to make it to the playoffs more than twice in 8 years. So, who else could sign Kemba Walker this summer? I want to look at 3 teams: the New York Knicks, the Dallas Mavericks, and the Los Angeles Lakers. So we'll start with the Knicks. Hometown. This is where Kemba Walker is from. You can never count out the hometown team to sign away a big free agent. And New York is in the perfect position to do that with enough space to sign 2 big names like Walker, like Kevin Durant. Who knows, like Kyrie Irving, Kawhi Leonard, whoever it may be. But they could go out and chase Kemba Walker, give him the max, get the number 1 pick hopefully, and surround him with talent right off the bat. I think New York would have to, 1, land that number 1 pick, and then 2, sign another big name before they convince Kemba to go to New York, because not a lot of winning has happened in New York. So I think at first you got to put the talent in, and then Walker will come, if he wants to go there. Now, second of all, the Dallas Mavericks. And you guys say, oh, you're all things Mavs. Like, of course you're going to say the Mavericks. No, there is some truth behind this team as well. Rick Bonnell of the Charlotte Observer, obviously covers the Hornets on a daily basis, called the Dallas Mavericks the biggest threat to sign Kemba away from Charlotte this summer. He said this back in March, and from his article, he said, 2 sources with knowledge of the Mavericks thinking expect Walker, the Hornets' 3-time All-Star point guard, to be on that team's top target, to be one of the team's top target when NBA free agency begins July 1st. Now, obviously, the Mavs are entering the lottery for the 3rd straight year. They haven't won in a little while, but they're still a winning organization. They have Rick Carlisle, the best coach that Walker will ever play for if he ends up going to Dallas. And they have 2 established stars in Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis. They're ready to win now, and Kemba Walker could push them to that top tier of the Western Conference. Third team I want to look at, the Los Angeles Lakers. Obviously, the Lakers would offer Kemba Walker the chance to play with arguably the best player in the world in LeBron James. He wouldn't have to shoulder the offense like he did for 8 straight years in Charlotte. He would play alongside LeBron. They would obviously have enough money, enough cap space to bring in some more talent alongside him. And again, push the Lakers into the Western Conference playoff picture. Finally, they're ready to be back. And honestly, I don't care about Lonzo Ball, Rajon Rondo. Get them out of here. Kemba Walker is better than both of those guys. And I think Kemba would fit perfectly for the Lakers, but we'll see if he actually wants to go there. So you say, okay, well, what's your prediction? My prediction, I think Kemba Walker is a guy that values loyalty. And I think he's going to stay in Charlotte unless they can't do anything this summer. They have to put some talent around him. I don't care who it is. It can't be Nicholas Batum. It can't be an old washed-up Dwight Howard. It can't just be Miles Bridges, who's a great draft pick. But come on, Charlotte. You got to make some moves. Keep your star happy in Charlotte. So, again, that's my prediction. I think he stays. I think he values loyalty just a bit too much to leave. Whew. Kemba Walker, man. Now let's look at another Eastern Conference point guard in Kyrie Irving. We all know Kyrie has been kind of a drama queen this season. Beginning of the year, he said, yeah, Boston, have me back. I'm going to sign this summer. And then middle of the year, he's like, man, so tired of losing. They've been on slumps. But now they're in the playoffs. They're ready to fight. And Danny Ainge, of course, of the Celtics, was sounded very confident in keeping Kyrie Irving in Boston this summer. So in a recent interview with Sports Illustrated, here is what Danny Ainge said. He said, I don't think free agency is wearing on him being Kyrie, of course. I think not being able to live up to expectations as a team is wearing on him more than that. But I feel like he's in a good place. And ending the season and starting the playoffs, I feel like his mindset is in a fresher place than it was a few weeks ago. I'm looking forward to great things with Kyrie. Obviously, you can't look forward to great things with Kyrie if you don't think he's going to stay. So if Ainge is that confident, I think he's confident that something big is going to happen this summer. He's a smart guy. It's not blind confidence. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to kind of make a bold prediction here. I think Boston is going to make they're going to at least make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and then they're going to make a big move around the NBA draft. They have the potential to have four first-round draft picks, and they're not going to want to use that. They have too much cap space already locked up. They're going to want to look to trade some of those, package them up, get a big-name player, and I think a few roster moves could happen this summer. Now, just a couple months ago, Boston made it really clear to the New Orleans Pelicans that, hey, whoever you want on our team, they're available, just give us Anthony Davis. Well, now, let's say they have 4 first-round draft picks. You package those 3, 4, 2, whatever it may be, and even a Jason Tatum, maybe a Jaylen Brown. You could go as low as Terry Rozier and Marcus Smart, whoever it may be, and you make a move for Anthony Davis, and then Kyrie's like, man, Boston wants to put some talent around me, so I'm going to stick around. I think if Boston makes a big move, like an Anthony Davis type move, sorry Laker fans, then Kyrie's going to be rather convinced and he's going to want to stay in Boston, especially if they can make it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals this NBA playoff series. But let me know where you think Kyrie is going to land next year. Tell me in the comment section below. Do you think he stays in Boston? Do you think he goes to New York like all the rumors are saying? Or give me maybe a wild card team that you think Kyrie Irving could end up on. I don't know where he's going. Again, I'm convinced that Boston and Danny Ainge are ready to make a big splash this summer and go get some talent around Kyrie besides just Jason Tatum and those guys. So, from the NBA players and the NBA player rumors this offseason, let's move over to the coaches, where there has been drama already starting, even though the playoffs aren't even over. They're just getting started. And the first one, we look at ex-Lakers coach Luke Walton. He got picked up nearly 24 hours after he was fired from the Los Angeles Lakers. And it didn't take long. The other California team, the Sacramento Kings, jumped all over him, signed him to a contract through 2022-2023 after he missed the playoffs 2 straight seasons in his time with the Lakers. Now, in my opinion, I don't really think firing Dave Yeager was the best idea for the Kings. He got them to, I believe it was 39 wins, which is the most since 2005-2006 with the Kings. But I do think they're going to thrive under Luke Walton's leadership. They have one of the best young cores in the NBA with De'Aaron Fox, Marvin Bagley. You can even throw Bogdanovich in there, and then Harrison Barnes as well. I mean, he's a little older, but you got to have those established veterans around. Now, the Kings play a really up-tempo offense. Obviously, De'Aaron Fox is one of the speediest little point guards in the NBA. And that's kind of the style that the Warriors played with when Luke Walton took over there for a little while. I'm not calling the Kings the Warriors, of course, but they play with that kind of style. So I think Luke Walton is going to do a really, really good job with the Kings. They barely missed the playoffs. They really were in the hunt until the very bitter end. And based on how the whole bottom half of the West shakes out next year, I would not be surprised to see Luke Walton and the Kings in the Western Conference playoffs next year. But what do you guys think? I want to know. Do you think Sacramento will make it to the playoffs next season, or do you think they're going to get bounced out once again? Type Y if you think they are going to make it, or N if you do not think they're going to make the playoffs next season in the Western Conference, which is always tough, of course. Now, moving from Luke Walton getting hired to Luke Walton getting fired and the Lakers looking for some new head coaches. They're already ready to interview 3 guys, names that we've already talked about in Monty Williams, Tyronn Lue, and Juwan Howard. So I want to take a look at each of these guys and what they could bring as an NBA head coach for the Lakers. So starting with Monty Williams, currently he's the 76ers assistant. The Lakers were given the permission to talk to him about this opening, even though he's still with the 76ers as they're in the playoffs. He did have 5 full seasons as an NBA head coach when he was with New Orleans, and he only made the playoffs twice in those 5 years. Neither time that his New Orleans team got out of the first round. So his track record there isn't great. And then before that 5 seasons, he also spent his time as an assistant coach in Portland. And then after his time in New Orleans, he moved as the associate head coach in Oklahoma City. Now, of course, with the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, as a person, as a man, Monty Williams is one of the best guys you will find on an NBA bench as a coach. But his track record as a head coach is not great. I would love to see him hired. I think everybody in the NBA would be rooting for him if you know his story. But as an NBA coach, I don't think he's ready to be a head coach. He needs to spend a little bit more time as an assistant, and he's doing a great job in Philadelphia, don't get me wrong. But he's only been there for this season, so let's work your way up. Now, second guy, obviously has been the favorite since the start, is Tyronn Lue. That interview is going to happen sometime within the week. Obviously, he isn't with the team. They don't need the permission to talk to him. He was fired from Cleveland, as we know, after just 6 games where they went 0-6 to start this season. And I've said this once, I'll say it again. The Cleveland Cavaliers just weren't good. It wasn't Tyronn Lue's fault. They don't have talent. They didn't have talent this season. So I don't think he deserved to get fired, especially after he led the Cavs to their first NBA Finals as a franchise. You know, he's coached a little over 200 games, and his winning percentage is 60.7%. So he's won a majority of the games that he's coached. So, again, we know Tyronn Lue has that connection with LeBron James. He already has a connection with the LA Lakers. I think it's very likely that we could see Tyronn Lue on the Lakers bench next season. Now, the last guy they're going to interview is Juwan Howard. And shout out to my guy, Doug McCain, for bringing this to the channel earlier. I didn't even think of Juwan Howard until I watched Doug McCain's video talking about, hey, this could be a wild card. Watch out for him with the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, Cleveland Cavaliers also have an interview coming up with Juwan Howard to be their next head coach. Cavaliers are also interviewing the Mavericks assistant Jamal Mosley. But back to Howard. He's currently the assistant with the Miami Heat. He's been there for 5 years, I believe. And then, of course, the Lakers had to get the permission to talk to him. They got that permission. Juwan Howard played over 1,200 games in the NBA between 94 and 2013. And then immediately after that, left the court, went to the bench, coached the Miami Heat. Again, another guy with a LeBron connection. He played with him when they were in Miami together. And he'd be able to command the respect of an NBA locker room right away. I like Howard. I think he'll get an NBA head coaching gig soon. I would still lean toward Tyronn Lue being the favorite to land this position, but Juwan Howard might be a close second. We're going to have to see how that interview shakes out. So again, guys, I'm your host, Jimmy Crowther of All Things Mavs. You can give me a follow on Twitter at all_things_Mavs. As always, make sure you subscribe to Chat Sports for all the latest and greatest NBA news and rumors that I'll be bringing to you each week, and the whole channel will be bringing to you every single week. It's NBA playoffs. Enjoy it. Go watch the playoffs. Let me know who you want to see in the NBA Finals, and we'll talk soon. Thanks, guys.